everybody, welcome. I have a slight late start today because it is 40 degrees Celsius, which makes me extra slow. Anyway, I'm going to jump around a bit today because there is a lot to be said. Firstly, I know many of you may be upset about yesterday's video. Some are just disappointed, some just do not believe it, and others got downright angry, either going on about what hypocrites Harry and Meghan are, or they're angry at the king, or they are angry at me. So why do I think there is any truth in Harry, Meghan and the children visiting the king? Or then why do I think he is going out of his way to make it happen? Well, I think there are about 15 reasons, but let's stick to, let's say 4 or 5, okay? The same answers I gave to a contributor and friend last night. Number 1, Charles does not like being told what to do, and now that he is king, it is even more so. The more we want him to strip Harry, the more he will push against it. Number 2, Charles needs an ally. Him and William are not seeing eye to eye on basically anything at the moment, and Charles has always gotten on better with Harry than William. Charles is also, that's number 3, Charles is also jealous of William and would rather see the monarchy fold than imagine the history books slamming his reign and praising William's reign, for instance. Number 4, Harry can be bought. William can't. Harry is thus a useful fool, all allegedly and in my opinion. Okay, then, some of you are still saying Meghan Markle will not set foot in the United Kingdom ever again. In my opinion, that may have been the case 6 months ago, but, you know, her show has flopped. Her As Never is not a raging success, and even though she has the stuff on display at Soho, I'm telling you that those who frequent Soho will be even more critical than we are. Yuppie types are very fussy about what they eat and drink, and I'm afraid Meghan's wares are not it. In my opinion, it is just a load of crap she sold the media, which is preventing her from crawling back, begging bowl in hand, or maybe a service or two to trade for a favour. But boy, oh boy, just talk about giving them 24/7 security and she will be there and leak to People magazine that everyone has apologized to her and have welcomed her back, and now they are again going to be the family she never had. You know, all that shite. Hey, and someone, we have a good idea who the someone is even telling mainstream media that it is not if, but when. And even Meghan herself is saying she is hoping they can go to the United Kingdom before Christmas. Well, I think 96% of Britain is indeed now praying that Ravik will stick to their guns. But I had a back and forth with Jay, and guys, I'm telling you, if he says no comment, then it is likely all true, and he just cannot say so yet. I'm hearing that Princess Anne is now sort of directly, indirectly also involved in the general dissatisfaction and upset plaguing the royal family. Now, this is not the first time I've heard this. The first time I heard that was a few months after the Queen's death, when Charles sold 14 of the Queen's horses. I was told at the time that the Queen wanted Anne and Zara to have her horses, and never in her wildest dreams thought that Charles would not respect her wishes. Well, he didn't, and he still doesn't, even in regards to things that we all know about. The Queen never ever wanted to turn Balmoral into a commercial entity, and she fought Charles on it for years. She wanted it to remain a retreat for the family, but the first thing Charles did was opening it to the public for much longer than when his mother was alive. He also made changes to the decor and use of some of the rooms, mostly for commercial purposes. Charles has also not passed on other heirlooms to her other children and grandchildren as promised, and I hear Anne in particular has had enough of his behavior, and she has made it abundantly clear that she will continue her duties as always, in the same manner as always, but that Charles and Camilla should skip her if and when they want someone to stand in for one of them. She will no longer do so. There were also rumors that Anne will retire at 75, but she 100% denied it. But I heard from a very reliable source that even if she is still healthy enough, she will not continue working or doing royal duties into William's reign. Not anything to do with William himself, really, but because she feels that once Charles is gone, it is time for the younger generation to take over and do their thing. Talk has again surfaced that Charles is desperate for Andrew to move out of Royal Lodge, and although I am hearing from mainstream media that Andrew will move out in February, I personally heard from a good source that it will only be in October 2026, if at all. I asked Jay, and he asked around, and was told that yes, nothing in Andrew's lease makes it dependent on him retaining his titles, which does sound about right, because who would have thought 20 years ago that he would lose all his titles, including his princely title? No one. So yes, I expect that there will be an uphill battle still to get him out. Having said that, it is said that Charles desperately wants to renovate it for Camilla, her children and grandchildren, as it is unlikely they will ever be invited to Balmoral or Sandringham again, should he pass away before Camilla. Apparently, Camilla's own home is too small for them all to visit together. Remember, there are also her beloved sisters, one of whom is indeed earmarked to move in next to Camilla's private home, the one that belongs to her, into the one Charles bought, so that it is not turned into a restaurant, bed and breakfast kind of thing. Apparently, allegedly, this is another matter ticking William and Anne off majorly. Anyway, I have a feeling there is a lot of nuance and other things going on behind closed doors. I also sent an email to an old contact of mine whom I have not heard from in nearly a year, I mean, just checking in. Well, that was just over a week ago, and the day before yesterday I saw an email from her, but my daughter called telling me the 3 dogs' food are ready. Yes, there are now 3, but I'd rather not tell this story on a public forum. It's sad, but he's old. It's sad, and he's old, but he is a sweetheart and a cutie, and very funny. Anyway, I forgot about the email, and last night I was actually emailing someone back when I remembered about the email. Anyway, so I also asked in this long chatty email whether she noticed how strange or rude Camilla is acting, interrupting Charles when he's talking, tapping him on the arm and interrupting. Also how she seems to be acting towards Catherine. And I mean, it's very different from how she acted before. How both Melania Trump and the German Chancellor's wife looked pleasant enough, but almost uncomfortable in Camilla's company, and do not seem to really engage her in conversation, but would politely smile when she spoke to them. Well, I thought that maybe her position has gone to her head and all the family strife was getting to her, but is someone who works for a supplier supplying certain items to one of the palaces said that a member of the household staff told her that they are all speculating, quietly in dark corners, that she has early onset Alzheimer's, which is currently still controlled by medications. The lady told her about things they observed, which I am not going to repeat here because I do not think it is enough to even make a layperson diagnosis or then an ill-informed guess. But my mom had Alzheimer's in the last, say, 3 years of her life, and her worst symptoms were controlled by something which I looked up and which Google tells me is actually an antidepressant. Now, I'm not sure what else she took, but I mean, yes, it is quite possible to manage Alzheimer's in the early stages. So I don't know, maybe until we're sure of our case, we should just back off on this rumor. And I don't know, but maybe not be so judgmental. There's maybe a medical reason why she's acting a bit strangely lately. Well, guys, I read the email, but there are a few things I'm following up on. Nothing as potentially serious as this. So you can relax your breeches, okay? When I come back, however, we'll talk about some politics, to say the least, and Meghan Markle. So until then, please take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye.